You're searching for the perfect place to call home here in the Inland Empire, then you're definitely going to want to see what Rancho Cucamonga has to offer. We're going to go over every unique neighborhood that Rancho has, and by the end you should have a clear idea if Rancho Cucamonga is a place that you could consider home, or if you should eliminate it from your list of choices. And we're going to first start off with Victoria Gardens. And that's where I'm at right now. So behind me are some townhomes that are for sale right across the street from Victoria Gardens. What is Victoria Gardens? It has a bunch of outdoor restaurants. You can sit down, have your food, your drinks. They have events like farmer markets, and it is walking distance. So I'm in front of one of these townhomes that are currently for sale. They run about $650,000 plus or minus, depending on the size and finishings. And I'm walking to Victoria Gardens because it is walking distance, which is a huge plus here in Southern California. Rarely do you have communities that you can walk to, like a coffee shop or something. Usually you're just jumping in your car and going wherever you have to go. So in Victoria Gardens, there's a bunch of activities that they have. One of the things is, which I think is huge, and I think probably a lot of people don't take advantage of, is the public library. And if you're not taking advantage of your public library, then man, you're missing out. They typically have a bunch of events and a bunch of activities for kids and even adults as well, depending on what you're into, if it has to do with books and stuff like that. So if you decide to pick one of these or the other ones in the surrounding communities, what are you going to find? What's part of the negative? Well, as you can see, all these homes are pretty pressed together. These are townhomes, so you might be sharing a wall with your neighbor. You don't have a big backyard. You have an HOA, so those are extra dues. You do have a nice community pool if you decide to utilize that. If you don't, then you're just wasting your money on stuff like that. I would say the cost per square foot is a little bit higher as well. So there's a property here that's for sale right now, depending on when you watch this video, for like $600,000, but it's only a 2-bedroom. So if you can imagine, if you put your 20% down and your monthly payments are still going to be like $4,000 a month for a 2-bedroom. It is pretty cool because it has 3 levels and two upstairs, and you have some big private space and your garage and things like that, depending on where you're coming from. That's something I keep in mind if I decide to move out here, depending on what I'm going to get for the amount of money I'm going to spend. So depending on the time of year, time of day, you might run into a lot of traffic if you decide to live out here. Why is that? Because there's not a lot to do here in Rancho Cucamonga, here in the Inland Empire. So what do people normally do? They go shopping, they go to these type of shopping centers, which means all the people around here are gonna be gravitating to these areas. So on a Friday night, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of traffic, and that's something you gotta consider if you decide to move out here. Now, if this is something that you like, if Rancho is an area that you think you wanna move to, and you want an all access pass, so all the homes that are coming on the market at no cost, no obligation to buy anything, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. I can set you up and get you detailed information on all those hard to find homes that are coming on the market, those off market properties. Again, no cost, no obligation. I'm a real estate broker here in Southern California. I can help you out and find you the right home that you're looking for. The next area you're going to want to consider is Etiwanda. Here's where it's located on the map. These are what the typical homes look like. They're larger homes. You got a little bit more land, well manicured. People who live here, they tell me, oh, it's family friendly and things like that. Price wise, yeah, it's on the higher ups. Why is that? A lot of people say it's because of the schools. Better schools, which everyone cares about, want their kids to have a great education, including myself. I'm always fighting to figure out how to give my kid an edge in schooling and things like that, and in life. So people are willing to pay extra to live in those neighborhoods because they have better schools. I gotta say, one of the big things here that you're gonna notice when I was touring these homes, or when I show people these homes, are these awesome views. Now, I live in Ontario, so I don't get these type of awesome views. I get views of the mountains, but here you get views of the valley and the mountains. So if you're looking at a home and you're thinking, I want a nice view, then this is something that you're going to definitely want to consider moving to. So you're further away from like Victoria Gardens, where I'm at right now. And if you want to enjoy like a nice night out, you just can't drive a couple of minutes or walk anywhere. You're jumping in your car and you're going like 15 minutes. Now, if you don't want to drive, you want to jump in an Uber or something, yeah, it's like a 5-10 minute drive to whatever, restaurant or Victoria Gardens or any place you want to go locally. So not really a big deal, but you are kind of further away. And if you work, let's say in LA or not in the immediate area, then your commute time is going to be a little bit more because, again, you're further away. Now, here's something that I don't know if a lot of people tell you about, but there's something called Santa Ana winds. I didn't know this when I moved here. And what happens around October time is that these winds pick up. It gets super windy. The trucks on the highways, they get blown over. I was driving by once and I've seen, 15 of these big rigs just on their sides. So during those times, yeah, you're gonna find like roofs being blown off, like the tiles of the roofs being blown off, you know, not the tops, you know, it's not like a tornado or anything like that. And your fences are gonna be blown down. So yeah, Santa Ana winds, that's something to look out for. Now that happens everywhere, it gets windy everywhere, but here's really where you get picked up a lot of those Santa Ana winds. So in Etiwanda, if that's something that you're concerned about, then yeah, keep that in mind. And if you like this information, go ahead and subscribe. I hit a lot of the communities around here and I do a deep dive of every city that there is in the Inland Empire. So hit subscribe, and if you like what I have to say, hit the like button, that helps me as well. So another area I'd consider is this area called Day Creek. You have some newer homes, nicer manicured lawns and things like that. Again, the people say it's family oriented and stuff like that. I have to say the people say because I can't steer people, you know, it's against the law. So wherever you want to live, you live. I'm just reporting back what people say, you know. You have some newer amenities, you're close to a bunch of parks, you're close to, they have a bunch of activities that go on as well, running groups, things like that. Through here is that Pacific Electric Trail. I run that up and down. It's like 22 miles long. I don't do the whole 22 miles, obviously, because that's crazy. But if that's something that you want to do, then you have the opportunity to do it. Other things that people tell me about this area is that it is lower in crime. So they say, oh, they feel a little bit safer, less crime, stuff like that. Now, I got to tell you, crime exists everywhere, no matter what you're doing. You could be in the fanciest neighborhoods. Something's going to happen there. You know, unfortunately, that's just the way life is, right? There's no avoiding it. And when you first come out here, it's going to take a little bit of getting used to, because all these roads are all like windy and stuff like that. Lots of curves, lots of cul-de-sacs. So it's not just like a grid system. Now, I grew up in New York City, and when you go to Manhattan, it's like a whole grid, right? But here, no, it's all windy and things like that. Now, I kind of like it because there's a bunch of like quiet streets. There's no one racing down streets, because you can't. You got to like make a turn every few seconds. I think that's a little bit safer. That's just my opinion. I don't know. The next area you may want to consider is a town. They call it's Altaloma. Used to be its own town, and then it was like gobbled up by Rancho Cucamonga when they got incorporated. Yeah, it's a bunch of stuff. Either way, it's Altaloma. If you ask people where you live, Altaloma, that's on the west side of Rancho Cucamonga. I would say that's like the older town of Rancho Cucamonga. Those homes were built maybe like in the 50s or something. So you have the styles of like you can see here. These style of homes have bigger plots of land. There are not too many HOAs, so you don't have to worry about someone bothering you on what color paint and stuff like that. You just have the city rules that you have to go through. Overall, I would say, yeah, these homes are older, but people here, they keep it up really nice. And one of the biggest drives is the schooling. Again, Rancho Cucamonga in this whole region has some of the best schools, best high schools in this whole region, the whole Inland Empire. So people want to live here for those reasons, and for those reasons the prices are a little bit higher. Now, this extends all the way up to the foothills. One of the things you got to know about the foothills is that there's wildlife, so they come down. You might have if you have a small dog, you have to watch out for those coyotes. They will jack your dog, so just keep that in mind if you're deciding to move to Rancho. Honestly, I've heard people say that coyotes come all the way down past the 10 freeway into like lower Pomona, lower Ontario. So just gotta be aware that there's coyotes out here and they will jack a small dog. So as we stay on the north side of Rancho, let's go back to North Etiwanda. This is where you're gonna see a lot more of these gated and private communities. So you need like a gate code to get in. Some of these luxury homes are here. These larger homes with spectacular views. Again, why? Because they're closer and higher up on the mountains and the valleys. Now, you're again further away from from like Victoria Gardens and more city life or any type of urban life that you can even remotely find out here in Rancho. So it does take you a little bit longer to go through all that traffic and jump on the highway and things like that. Now, here's one thing that I don't know if people here really care about too much, because to live here, you're making some good money. You know, I mean, these are $1 million houses, $2 million houses. So if you can afford that, then, you know, you're doing all right for yourself. But something that you should know if you decide to live in these type of like wilderness type of areas or close to like a mountain is that here in California, the insurance companies are leaving because, it's been a lot of fires in Southern California, and they've burned up a bunch of communities, and a lot of people lost their homes. And these insurance companies, they have to pay out. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the only reason an insurance company will leave and stop doing business here is because they're not making enough money. And the way they make their money is they collect premiums and they don't like to pay. Here they have to pay, they got to rebuild all these houses, and they're not making any money, so they're leaving the state. So what does that mean? That means there's less options, which means insurance costs go up, which means to live in closer to these mountains is going to cost you even more. So whatever you're paying in house and HOA dues, just add on that insurance costs are going to be higher. Now again, if you're buying $1 million house or $2 million house, maybe that's not a big deal to you. Maybe that's just like the cost of doing business or the cost of living. It's not a big deal. But if you're not buying one of these $1 million houses and you do have an opportunity to live here, or if you're already living here and you're wondering what's going on with my insurance, that's what's going on. Insurance companies are not making enough money, so they're leaving the state, and they're kind of coming back, but they're leaving the state because of all these fires and that they have to pay out. That's really what it is. They have to pay out the premiums, and they don't like doing that because, again, these insurance companies, their business is just to make money. All right, now we're moving on to South Rancho Cucamonga. This is the south side of Rancho. I like this area because it is way more affordable. If you're just starting out, if you're saying this is going to be my first home, the number of members of my family is still small, but it is growing, and I just need a basic 3-bedroom, 2-bath, basic 3-bedroom, 1-bath house to buy, a little bit of yard and a garage, then this is the area that you're going to want to consider because the homes here are more affordable. Why are they more affordable? They're older, you're closer to like industrial and railroads and stuff like that. The roads are a little bit smaller. They don't have these manicured lawns. There's no HOAs, or well, for the most part, and there are some communities that have HOAs, but for the most part, there are no HOAs. And this is where I would say you're going to find a deal. If you're going to say, well, this is going to be my first home, I only have 3% to put down, I've saved up whatever, $30,000, and because there's closing costs and stuff like that, and I want to go ahead and buy something, this is where you're going to find like the best deal for a first-time home buyer. Now, if you are fortunate enough and you have more down payment and you have a higher income and you want to not live there, then yeah, you have those other options. But I would say that this area is a good choice for a lot of first-time buyers. One thing that you're definitely going to notice is that there's more warehouses out here, so there's more trucks. There's a railroad that goes right across, which is a positive if you need to get on public transportation to take you to Union and LA and stuff like that, but a negative if you want to stay sleeping and you're going to hear that train horn going off and stuff like that. And that's South Rancho. And finally, I would say I saved the perceived best for last, but I don't think it's really the best. It's these Rancho Estates, Rancho Cucamonga Estates, all the way up on the hill, private community or guarded private community. You need to be announced to get in. This is where you're going to find a bunch of custom $1 million homes, 5,000 square feet, pools and stuff like that. Awesome views. If you can, again, if this is like your lifestyle, then yeah, you have these type of communities out here. Now, I've been in a bunch of these homes when I had to do some evaluations on values and stuff like that. And a lot of them kind of don't look that good. I mean, they were probably obviously they were brand new at one point in time, but the quality, they had like tiled countertops, and just in my opinion, they didn't look all that luxury. Now, there are some new ones that are being built and renovated, and yeah, those things were primo. So you're gonna have like this plus and minus. But what you're really paying for is to be further away from everything, higher up, nicer views, private community. No one can drive through your neighborhood without the security guard knowing and letting you know. So that might be a benefit to you. But getting out of that community is kind of a pain in the butt. You have all these speed bumps and stuff like that. So just add that commute time if you have to go anywhere. And now if you're saying, hey Oscar, you're giving me a lot of information, this is really good stuff, but I'm still a little confused, go ahead, give me a call. I'll be able to help you out, guide you in the right direction, let you know what the best deals are. Now, if you still want to know what are the areas you might consider, I did a video on Ontario and the 7 neighborhoods that are most popular there, so go ahead and watch that video. And if you need more guidance or anything like that, and if you want to start shopping for a home, go ahead, give me a call, send me a text, send me an email. I'm here to help you guys out. Until then, I'll check you guys later.